Hi, my name is Dave Chatterton. I'm a branch manager at Great Northern Insulation. And in this short webinar, I want to talk to you about air leakage, mainly in commercial buildings, why it occurs, what sort of problems it poses for both the owners and the occupants. Air leakage problems in commercial buildings don't always show up in the most obvious ways. In fact, to the naked eye, many buildings appear to be just fine. It's often in the symptoms that we discover what's really going on. For example, you could be spending too much on your energy bills. Your occupants might be complaining about drafts or the transfer of unpleasant odors. For an expert, it's situations like these that have the simplest diagnosis: flaws in your building envelope. First, I want to talk a little bit more about Great Northern Insulation and what we do. G&I is a Canadian insulation contracting company that also specializes in air sealing and draft proofing. We've been around for well over 30 years, and we've been fortunate enough to have grown all over Ontario in that time. Our engineers and our installers pride themselves on using building science, field experience, product leadership to improve the building energy efficiency, comfort, durability, and safety. In addition to homes and multi-family residences, G&I also works greatly with commercial buildings, and that's where we really want to focus today. It might surprise you to learn that up to 60% of the average commercial building's heating and cooling costs are wasted on uncontrolled air leakage. What happens is the building draws in external air through the gaps, cracks, crevices in the building envelope, and then it pushes the conditioned air back out. There are three ways this happens. The most common is from the wind. When the wind hits a building straight on, air enters on the windward side and it exits on the three sides at the top and through the roof. If the wind happens to hit at an angle, of course, it exits the building from the two leeward sides and the roof. Next, and very importantly, is stack effect. Some people call it chimney effect, which is basic physics. Hot air rises. The warm, conditioned air escapes through the holes at the top of the building and at the roof, and the resulting lower pressure at the bottom of the building draws the air in from the surrounding environment. And the last cause is from the mechanical system itself. For high-rise buildings, mechanical engineers and on-site managers often choose to bring in make-up air to increase the pressure and overcome the infiltration at the base of the building. Unfortunately, this also increases the pressure at the top, causing more exfiltration problems in that area. As you can imagine, uncontrolled air leakage is a huge waste in energy and cost, but it can also be a potential hazard to building occupants. When air is sucked into a building, it brings pollutants, smoke, allergens, and odors with it, affecting the indoor air quality. Because air transfer can also occur within compartments of a building, for example, between a parking garage and an office, the uncontrolled air leakage can present a fire hazard, as smoke from fire can spread easily through the building's voids and its shafts. Airborne humidity and contaminants can also do damage to insulation, brickwork, cladding, thus reducing the life of the building. Problems like ice damming, mold growth, complaints about odor, noise transfer, these things all increase maintenance and operating costs. And of course, from an aesthetic standpoint, uncontrolled air leakage can also lead to efflorescence, water staining, flaking bricks, rust streaks, large holes in the masonry, cracked and peeling finishes. And so, as you can see, it's a big problem. The reason basic insulation doesn't always catch these problems is often due to where the leakage tends to occur. While air and moisture can transfer through walls themselves, depending on your insulation, the worst area of leakage are often mechanical penthouses, soffits, parapets, punched windows, overhang parapets, links connecting below-grade areas to other buildings, joints between one system and another, doors. These are all places that insulation contractors often forget or can't even get to. Here are some typical examples of areas that could be posing problems for you and your building. Stay tuned for part 2 of this webinar, in which we'll discuss how to solve these air leakage problems for safer, more comfortable, and a more affordable building. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to contact me. Thank you very much for your time.